Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm your average gamer. We're back in Snowrunner today for the third of my quick reviews of each of the seasons in the year 3 pass so far that have been released. And today we'll be focusing on season 11. And if you're one of my lovely subscribers, or if you've caught any of my videos on my channel, you'll have noticed that I've been doing a playthrough of season 11 from the start, and I've very recently finished all of the contracts, all of the tasks and all of the seasons, as we eagerly await the arrival of season 12, which, fingers crossed folks, fingers crossed, shouldn't be too long. So what have we got in season 11? Well, we've got 2 maps in this region, the first of which is Mountain Ridge. The one we are in the garage on Mountain Ridge, which is the only garage on the 2 maps. The second map being By the Lake. And what have we got tasks wise? Yeah, there were 16 tasks on this first map. Let's go to the map so we can just have a quick look, zoom out a little bit. Yeah, 16 tasks on the first map, and there are 13 on the second map. Some, as is often the case in Snowrunner, some are only unlocked after you've completed other tasks or contracts, so not all of them will be available to start with. But yeah, so that's what, 29 tasks overall across the maps. There are 35 contracts in total across the maps, and as far as contests go, there's 1 contest on here on Mountain Ridge and 2 on By the Lake. So let's just have a little look around the map. So you've got this tarmac road which runs basically all the way around here. There is a blockage. Now where is that blockage? Yeah, this here is basically impassable. So if you want to get from, you have to basically go down this road here, which isn't particularly tricky, but there are lots of broken sections of tarmac around here. But other than that, it's pretty much, yeah, and all along here, this is all basically easy going. There's a little bit of, where is that snowy section shown on this map? Where do you go through that? Is that, yeah, it could be, yeah, I think it's this bit here where there's a bit of snow blocking the road, but again, it's not particularly difficult to get past. And then this route takes you past a fuel station. There's yeah, this is the only fuel station on both maps. Yeah, that's right, yeah. And there's the Eastern Gateway. There are a couple of roadblocks blocks that you need to clear. One of them is here. Where was the other one? I forget where the other one was, but yeah, there were a couple of roadblocks. But by far and away, and without a shadow of doubt, the most important contract that you need to do, it's one of the early ones, is to get this bridge repaired here. You have to pick up a generator from, yeah, from here, I think it was, and then bring that back to that generator area at the iron and steel works, and then you have to craft some metal beams, and I forget the other thing that you need, but then bring them to the bridge and repair it, because repairing this bridge is, as I say, the most important thing to do. If you haven't got the bridge repaired, you have to cross the river here, and that's very boggy and muddy, and I tried it in my Neo and it nearly drove me out of my mind, but I did it in the Burlak. It wasn't too bad, and I've done it in trucks and it wasn't too bad, but then you've got to drive all the way back down here, whereas this bridge gives you access to the Southern Gateway in absolutely no time at all, and it gives you easy access to this production facility over here where you get wooden planks and you can build cabins and so on. So yeah, that's the most important thing to get done, and you can do that fairly early. With regard to the terrain, yeah, a lot of it is quite tough. This area is tough. The area up here in the mountains, you really do feel like you're up in the middle of nowhere here. And yeah, this This is the route that I took the most to head up to what is the mountain movie set, and then over here to where the cabin zone are. There's a couple of or 2 or 3 contracts you have to deliver to these sort of areas. So yeah, what else? Yeah, these areas here, there's rocks and that. I must say, again, following on the theme, it is absolutely stunning terrain. It really is. When you're up in the mountains and you're looking down on the river and on the town from a distance and so on, it is very, very pretty indeed. It's stunning, I would say. The greenery of the trees mixed with the cold feeling of the snow is beautiful, I must say. All 3 regions so far have been spectacular in the way they look, I would say, and this is no exception. So when you're off the beaten track, especially up in these smaller tracks, the terrain is pretty testing. I have been using basically in-game vanilla trucks. I haven't been using modded trucks. I've used modded trailers, but not modded trucks, and they have coped fine for the most part with the terrain. It's only my average driving, that has been the issue, really. So that's my overview of this map, I would say. It's, as I say, it's stunning to look at. You don't actually spend too much time in this part of the map, and there's a couple of tasks up in the mountains, and you have to go to the log station a couple of times to get supplies for your production. But yeah, there is a lot. There's more so on the second map, but I will mention it now. There is quite a lot of tarmac road driving. To get to the gateway, once you've cleared the blockage there, it's basically all tarmac road. Heading over to this area, it's all tarmac road. And while that's more of an issue, we'll get onto it in a little while on the second map. I suppose on this map, the variety and difficulty of the terrain once you head off the main road is such that it's not too much of a, what's the word? It's not too much of a disappointment, I would say, that you're spending a lot of time on the tarmac road when you get off road here, because it is more of a challenge when you do head off road. So that's the overview of the map. So what we're going to do now is to look at the first of the vehicles that come with Season 11, this being the little Neo Falcon. Now, again, if you've seen any of my early videos where I use this, I was very pleased to be able to get this this little Scout, but it proved to be very disappointing. I'll be honest with you folks, I'm always going to be honest with you. And the main problem, as you can see, I think it looks fantastic. It's got obviously a very snazzy paint job, but you've got supplies and you've got race suspension, you've got the junky tyres and so on. I just realised I've got chain tyres on that. I'm going to put mud tyres on that. Well, or off-road tyres. What can I put on there? Yeah, let's just put those on it. But let me just go into that again. Yeah, the main issue that you've got with this vehicle is the power to weight ratio. This has got the biggest engine that you can fit on it, and it's only a power to weight ratio of B, and that really proves to be a problem for this little truck, because in a lot of the places where I took it up into the mountains, let me just go back to the map. Yeah, I took it in one particular task from here up this route and along here to collect a trailer that I wanted to take back. Oh, and it literally took forever to get up this part, and I've driven other vehicles on if not this particular route, very similar routes up here without anywhere near the difficulty. As I say, when I attempted to, where is the river crossing? When I attempted to go across the river, it really struggled. And when I was travelling this route along this mountain pass, it was soul-destroyingly painful, in all honesty. And that was a real shame. I'm just going to put, what do I want? Let's just grab a trailer, because I'm just going to head through a swampy bit. Where's the off-road scout fuel trailer? Sorry folks, bear with me. There it is. Sorry folks, went straight past it. Right, let's put it in 4-wheel drive. Yeah, this, I would compare this in capability, although knowing that it was only a B power to weight ratio to start with, compared to an S Plus for the Hummer, I would compare it to something like the Hummer, which flatters to deceive, in all honesty, because you see the Hummer has got like an S Plus power to weight ratio, but you show it any kind of tough terrain and it will really struggle. So I'll just demonstrate. Now this isn't particularly bad terrain, although it will look it in this little Scout. Come on little Neo, you can do it. It's proving my point. Yeah, so when it comes to the 6 trucks that have been released with the 3 DLC so far in seasons 9, 10 and 11, I'm afraid that this truck would have to rank as the worst. This would be bottom of the pile. As you can see, other trucks and indeed other Scouts have just not had these issues through this terrain. I'm taking the easier route here folks as well. If you go through that water bit, it would take even longer. Right, let's crawl out, just gonna get it out. So yeah, so as you can see, with a decent sized Scout trailer on the back, it's not the best. Should be firmer ground just ahead, he says. Yeah, so yeah, this was the real disappointment for me, season 11, was the fact that this and the Burlak, as we'll get onto when we get through the gateway onto the second map. We'll discuss that further, but yeah, it was the lack of ability of the 2 DLC trucks that was the most disappointing part of this season 11, as I say. But obviously that's just my opinion folks. You may well disagree with me, but I have an inkling that you probably won't once you get into this and drive it. Yeah, I like the look of it. It looks great, especially with the roof rack and the protective parts on the fitted on the sides and on the roof. There's a bit of diff lock through this bit. You see, this other trucks have basically just sailed through this terrain. And if you're heading up into the mountains and you didn't bring fuel with you, you're going to struggle and probably run out of petrol just trying to get through semi-tricky terrain. Let's say, it's a shame, it really is. Go on little truck. Little rock there. Let's go back. Don't want to get stuck here. There's not much to winch to. Let's head over this direction. There we go. See? Nearly out to the main road. So yeah, as I've said did I say it in the previous video? I must have done. The Mack Defence would be my number one truck for the 3 regions so far. The Derry Special and the Zix 566 would be in 2nd and 3rd place. And I'm thinking, I've not really used the Kenworth 963 much, but again, where that suffers from a poor power to weight ratio, bit of a theme for today's video. I would probably put that on a par with the Burlak, maybe just behind the Burlak, maybe the Burlak in 4th place, the Kenworth in 5th, and this in 6th place. But yeah, of that there's no denying. This would definitely be in 6th place. So here we go, we head through to By the Lake. I've just got my Burlak parked up just here. Let's just drive forward so we can jump into it. Similarly painted. So yeah, that's my tale of the Neo, folks. If you like small scouts and you're maybe using it, once you've unlocked it, obviously you could use it on other seasons if you were playing the early seasons where the terrain is a little easier overall, then yeah, you may well enjoy it. But as I say, having used it purely on this region, I was very disappointed with it, which is a shame because I really, really wanted to like it. So such is life, folks, such is life. So let's change to another controversial truck, the second DLC truck, the 6x6 Burlak. Now, where do we start with this thing? Actually, before we do that, let's just take a look at the map. So, as you can see, again, there's this tarmac road, which has the odd sort of semi-tricky bit that you have to negotiate. There's bridges here that you have to build. I don't think there are any roadblocks, but yeah, you definitely had to build this bridge, which is again probably the second most important thing to do, or the first thing to do when you get over onto this map. And this route takes you all the way out here to the factory, and it also takes you up to the southern gateway on Mountain Ridge. And while some of the early contracts I did were in like this area here, and I've done stuff in this mountain, this is a tough route up in the mountains, and again stunningly beautiful. But the terrain, and if you're heading into these parts, the intermediate parts, especially around here as well, and especially up here into the mountains, oh man, it's so spectacular. Looking for the watchtower, which was, where was the watchtower? Where was the watchtower? There it is. Yeah, this route it's stunningly beautiful, but tricky terrain. So yeah, but as I was saying, some of the early contracts you are working in these areas here and over here, and there's some stuff over here, But as I got later into the season and doing work on this map, what you tend to find is you spend an awful lot of your time, in fact most of your time, on this tarmac road, heading back and forth. If you've watched my videos, the last 5-6 episodes that I did doing the last of the tasks and contracts basically would involve you driving here and then driving down this little route for a little bit, or just driving down here for a little bit, or just driving down here for a little bit, or just driving up here. But the vast majority of time is spent on the main road, and I thought that was a bit disappointing. I thought they could maybe have broken this up and not made it tarmac all the way round, perhaps. Oh, excuse me. Had sections of muddy road, or however they could have thought of doing it, they decided not to do that. So I thought that was a bit disappointing. But yeah, so bear that in mind, folks. You will spend an awful lot of time driving on tarmac for the later portion of task completion on this map. But as I say, the terrain when you do head off-road, let's just head this way. There we go. Now the terrain when you head off-road is quite tricky. It's not as hilly as it was in season 11. Season 10. But it is still very, very tricky on occasions. There are tree roots and tree branches. Oh, I hate those tree branches. And rocks and stuff. But as I say, look, this is just stunningly beautiful, this map. This region in general, but again, this map, it's just a lovely place to be driving around. But yeah, we now need to address the burlap. This again, I think, is a fantastic looking machine. It's very, very different to anything else we've had. Although it is a Scout, it is technically a truck, and where you have the ability to attach either the Scout tow bar as I've got on it, or a heavy tow bar for towing regular trailers, does give it that versatility. However, this does suffer the same issue as the Neo. Let me just get out of this water there, just while we've got a little picturesque spot. Let me just yeah, so if you can see, this again has got the best engine you can get, and it's only a B+ power to weight ratio. Now I've just remembered as well, one of the mods that you can find, sorry, not mods, upgrades, sorry, not mods, one of the upgrades for this is the high range gearbox, which I have got fitted on this. If you are going to use this truck, you must use that high range gearbox, because with the standard gearbox, as I used it initially, it was painfully slow. Even in full auto, it was so frustratingly slow as to make you just not want to use it. But yeah, once you get the high range gearbox, although it's still not particularly quick, it does make it an awful lot better. So that would be my one recommendation. Well, my number one recommendation. My number two recommendation would be, with a power to weight ratio like that, don't think about towing anything particularly substantial with it, because progress will be slow and frustrating. But you know, there are upsides to it. Let's not be all doom and gloom about these vehicles. You get plenty of fuel and repair points with them. These are superb tyres that you get, so although you will make slow progress across a lot of the terrain, you will make progress eventually. As you can see, we've not had any issues so far with it bogging down or slowing down particularly. So in that sense, it's very, very capable from a basic terrain point of view. But yeah, it's just a question of whether you might find it a little bit frustrating to use for scouting purposes. I always thought scouts should be nippier and nimble. My favourite scout, as I said, I consider the best in-game scout to be the International Lodestar 1700 overall. Stick one of these trailers on the back of that and it will get through just about anything you throw at it. And yeah, you just don't need any other scouts really. But yeah, it's got quite a big turning circle this, but it's got excellent fuel consumption to be honest. As you can see, we're climbing up into the mountains, we're making steady progress, but it's, yeah, it's a bit chalk and cheese, this truck, to be honest. Again, I was happy to use it, and I did, once I'd made the necessary upgrades to it, as in not using, whoops, sorry, I forgot that bit of route is blocked. Not using the heavy trailer hitch and just using it as a scout and not thinking it's a truck. It can be used on this region. It's certainly better than the Neo, but by no means the best scout that you can get. Let's see how it goes through this snowy bit. I've headed up into the mountains, folks. Let's use a bit of diff lock. Yeah, with the high range gearbox you only get the one low gear, which I always prefer to have the 3 low gears using the off-road gearbox, but trust me, this is, as I say, by far and away the best option gearbox wise for this truck. Are we out of there? Let's go back into high gear and see how we go through there. There we are. Yeah, so as you see, this is spectacular terrain. Spectacular views. We'll find a spot. There's the factory down there. Don't have to do an awful lot there. Yeah, there are some materials that you can collect from there, but again, you can use them for you can collect them from places on the first map if you fancy a drive, but it will be predominantly on tarmac roads. Yeah, I have to, let's do an overall assessment then. So I've thoroughly enjoyed season 11. It really has been good. I used the Neo briefly to start with. As I say, you can check all of this out on my playlist for season 11 on my channel. Then I used the Burlak for a bit, but it started to frustrate me when I knew that there were other trucks that were just better for scouting than this. But you will find me using it a little bit on my Let's Play. But yeah, again, just like the Neo, just a little bit disappointing, I would say. I think it could have been, even if it had an A power to weight ratio, as long as it's not overpowered. That's probably what the developers were worried about, was making this a little bit too powerful as a scout and not wanting to use anything else. So I can understand it from that point of view. But yeah, to be fair, I was prepared to use this more than I was the Kenworth 963 in it on any of the regions. So right, let's go back into full auto. Head back up to the other gateway and we'll go through and across the lovely bridge that I built. I love driving across that bridge because it was so important to me. I was so glad when I built that bridge. It made such a difference to this region. But yeah, so as I say, Mack Defence would be the best truck from all three regions so far, all 3 seasons so far. Derry Special second, the Zix 566 in third, so that would be my top 3. Yeah, let's be kind to this Burlak. Let's put this in 4th place. We'll make this 4th place. The Kenworth 963 in 5th place, and the Neo, unfortunately, we'll leave that back in at the bottom of the pile. Sad but true, folks. Sad but true. So yeah, this complex here, this is where you collect your cable cars from. So you'll be doing a fair bit of work around this place. There's a service hub you have to build in that complex as well. So yeah, this is a hub, but again, you access it from tarmac roads predominantly. Yeah, so there you go. Look at that for a spectacular view up the mountains. You've got the green of the trees, you've got the beautiful lake, watchtower there, the snowy mountain tops. It's just stunningly beautiful. So if we just head up this road, we'll go through the gate and across my lovely bridge that I built, back to the garage, and then we'll call it a day for this episode, folks. So yeah, so we're now awaiting season 12. I've kind of stuck for content for Snowrunner until season 12 comes out, so this will probably be the last Snowrunner video until season 12 releases, when I will be getting back into that. Oh, we're here already. There we go. Nearly overshot the zone there. So yeah, it's this video is going out will be the 27th of January, which is late January, and it says that the new DLC will be released either late January or early February. As I've mentioned before, the release in early March of Expeditions, a Mudrunner game, it would be my suspicion that they wouldn't want the two to overlap too much, so probably earlier rather than later. I know they've been working on a patch for specifically, well, there will be other things, but for the solving of the crashing issues on Xbox, which will be good because I have suffered from those, but apparently that's taken a little bit of time to work out exactly what to do. Here's my lovely bridge. This is what you need to build. Oh, I love this bridge. I was so pleased to get this done. Get some lovely views from the bridge as well. Look at that for terrain. Beautiful. Or was it this section you had to build? One of the two. I think it might have been this section. Either way, vitally important, I would say. Yeah, sorry, distracted by the bridge. What was I saying? Yeah, so hopefully it won't be too much of a gap between this video going live on YouTube and season 12 coming out, so that I can then get cracking on that. That'll be a whole new season, and I am very much looking forward to that. 2 new trucks, this one truck and 1 scout. Let me just sell this trailer and put this back in the garage. There we go. Yeah, so very, very much looking forward to season 12. And into the garage we go. And there we are. So I think I'll probably call it a day there for this episode then, folks, and for my Snowrunner videos for the time being. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you could hit like and subscribe and click the bell icon as well so you never miss an episode, that would be tremendously helpful for me and my channel. And yeah, I'll just say thank you very much again for watching, and I will see you all on the next one. Cheerio.